Good morning. We're here today with Ellen Miller. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. Ellen Miller is a owner of Leeds Food Tours. Ellen, could you please introduce yourself and what prompted you to create the Leeds Food Tours?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Ellen, so owner of Leeds Food Tours. I live in Leeds. Got a little girl, 30 years old, if that's relevant. And I started Leeds Food Tours in October, November 2019. So great timing there. Essentially, Leeds Food Tours, I take groups around Leeds City Centre on a bit of a walking tour, stopping off at different restaurants with the aim of showcasing the sort of small independent food and drink businesses in the city centre to locals and visitors, and also just showing people a fun-filled, food-filled afternoon. What prompted me to start it? I was working in marketing agencies before, and was kind of thinking about leaving my job, but wasn't sure what to do next. Went on holiday at the same time and did a couple of food tours in Europe, and just thought Leeds could have this. We've got a great food scene. I know the restaurants really well. I love going out for food, something that I could do. So came home from holiday, quit my job, and set up Leeds Food Tours. Get
Wow,
into it really.
fantastic. Well, can you please take us through the different tours that you're currently offering, including the corporate tours?
Yeah, definitely. So I've got kind of three main offerings. So the first and kind of original product is the guided tours. And so I run those on Saturdays and pretty much every weekend. And essentially you book a ticket online, whether it's just you, whether it's as a couple or a group. You join into a mixed group and I take you round Leeds. We go to 6 different restaurants. We have food at each stop, and there's a drink included at one of the stops as well. And at each one, I kind of tell you about the venue, their ethos, the food, and then we tuck in. The focus is very much on independent businesses who are using local ingredients. So a lot of the places have got ever-changing menus as well, which is really nice. It means I don't get bored going there every week as well. And it's kind of a mixture of pubs, restaurants, through Kirkgate Market as well, just a couple of market stalls, so quite a lot of variety. So that's kind of the first main one. And then secondly, again, on guided is corporate, as you mentioned. So this is the bit of the business that I'm really trying to grow at the moment. And that is running the guided tours for private groups. So mostly that does seem to be corporate. So whether that's like team building days and kind of motivation reward days. I've got a couple of Christmas parties coming up over the next few weeks as well, which is good fun. And I can either do just the kind of like normal tour that I do on a Saturday, or if people want something specific, and then I can do bespoke. So I've done a drinks pairing one before. I've done a sustainability focused one. I've even had a request for a cheese focused tour, which I've not done yet, but that's in the pipeline. So a bit of a mixture, and that's kind of put groups finish size from sort of 6 to 30 is the biggest that I'll go. And then finally, I've got the self-guided street food tour. So this is different venues. It's street food focused, but indoor venues. And essentially you get an envelope, and inside that is a map and tokens and information cards. And you can go out 7 days a week, at a time that suits you, a pace that suits you, and you just follow the map, hand in the tokens at each stop, and you get your food back in return. So this one's ideal for gifts, because it covers 2 people. So if you've got, giving a Christmas present to a couple or to your parents or whatever it is, kind of ideal for that. And that one was mainly a response to the pandemic when we could go out, but only with our own household. So I couldn't take anyone on a food tour. So it was kind of how I managed that one. But that seems to be selling really well at the moment, especially in the lead up to Christmas as well. And so that's the second bit that I'm really pushing at the moment.
Fantastic. Well, you just mentioned the pandemic. How has the pandemic or even Brexit affected the restaurants, primarily in the Yorkshire region?
Yeah, definitely. I think Yorkshire, as well as the rest of the country, really. There's obviously at the time horrendous for everybody, all of hospitality. I suppose the positive at the time was the creativity, which was nice, because seeing people bring out their different meal boxes and kind of getting creative with their takeaway offerings. I think one of my favorite, there's a restaurant called Out who are in the Corn Exchange, and they wanted to offer a takeaway, but they couldn't because it's a shopping centre. Nobody could go in to collect it. So they were doing like a click and collect, you like order on the phone or online, and then you'd go over there and they would lower your food in a wicker basket on a rope out the window. So that was really cute. So that was nice, the creativity. But I think the probably biggest negative impact both things has obviously both been financially. Things have gotten a lot more expensive. I mean, I notice it with the restaurants. I've had to put the price of my tours up because the price of the restaurants are going up because of the suppliers and all of that sort of thing. I think on a positive note, people are very understanding of that, and they realize that restaurant prices are going up for a reason. It's not that they're trying to get ripped off or anything. And I think as a result of pandemic and Brexit, people are much more willing to spend a little bit more to support independent, support local, spend their money in places that it actually makes a difference rather than the big chains. And I think you can definitely see that with more independent businesses opening in Yorkshire, and less chains seem to be kind of expanding. So that's definitely a positive there. And I think the biggest effect it's had on restaurants is people wanting takeaways. I think it was obviously huge in the pandemic, but absolutely now. And I did see some statistics the other day that it's only going to continue. So people are used to staying at home now, but also people want to spend less money to go out less, but still feel like they're treating themselves. So any restaurant that is absolutely nailing their takeaway offering seems to be doing really, really well. I think a great example, people might know Slap and Pickle, who do like burgers and loaded fries. They, prior to the lockdown, they were just in Assembly Underground, but now over the last couple of years, I think they're on like restaurant 8 or 9 or something now, still independent, owned by a lovely couple, but expanded just because they do takeaway burgers really, really well and have all of the independent and sustainability and everything nailed, and can just expand. So yeah, definitely a shift to takeaway delivery, that sort of thing, really.
Excellent. And well, let's talk about the future. Do you have any future projects or potential new tours that you have planned?
Excuse me. Yeah, I do. So I'll keep the kind of main Saturday tour as it is. So just, a kind of general focus on local independent sort of thing, and self-guided one, but I'm going to be offering more one-off tours. So I've got one coming up in December, first weekend of December. I think when this goes out, I probably will have just missed it, but a Christmas tour. So totally different venue to usual, but also a Christmas twist. In January, I'm going to be doing a vegan focused one because a lot of people go vegan in January. All of my tours are suitable for vegans with those options, but this one will be just pure vegan. And then hopefully just kind of like once a quarter, maybe do like just a one-off kind of different themed tour, rather than any new specific ones. And then the other area that I'm kind of launching is networking tours, because I've been to quite a few networking events. I've been trying to grow the corporate side of it. And, it's sometimes a struggle to kind of move around the room and not get stuck with the same people. But I thought if it was a food tour, actually, you've got a good excuse to speak to someone else at each stop. So the first one I'm going to be doing, I've not got a date secured yet, but will be in January. I'm going to be collaborating with a couple of the co-working spaces to do networking tours for them, and then I'll go out on my own and do a few as well. So if anyone's kind of interested in that, best thing to do is just sign up to my email list on leedsfoodtours.com, and then I'll send out some emails on there once they're in the diary if anyone wants to do some networking whilst eating and supporting our small independent businesses as well. So yeah, that's definitely planned for the future. And then who knows after that, maybe one day expand into some other cities. But for now, definitely just kind of focusing on Leeds.
Absolutely. You did an amazing job. Thank you very much, Helen. If you'd like to know more or contact Helen directly, just go on Leeds Food Tours website. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks so much.